Hello, I'm Danny the Hek, aka the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger. Laying in bed this morning, Thursday morning, get a message from my Telegram group, or one of my Telegram groups I hang out on, telling me there's a Zoom meeting about to go down. Well, you guessed it, the truth behind Clayton Ford and Rannal Hepburn. Now, both these guys have been heavily involved in HyperNation. They decided to get the community together and see if they can help them. I'm not going to rave on too much, but I set up my gear, I went onto the Zoom meeting, and I streamed it live. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see lives, and you can watch this whole thing from A to Z. At the end of the Zoom meeting, my audio system couldn't keep up, and I sounded great, but I looked like I was a cartoon character, and I didn't like it. So I thought I would go to the effort, do my thumbnail, do a brief introduction. So you're about to watch Clayton Ford, and then you've got Rannal Hepburn, who drives around in a very flash silver Land Rover, who doesn't seem to be earning the income to merit having a car like that. So there's lots of strategies going on at the moment, and these VIP5s who have stolen the money are now coming back into the community saying that they're going to help people recover their money, and it is total bullshit. Before I get revved up, I'm just going to fade this in to the Zoom meeting that happened a couple of hours ago. I didn't want to do a whole lot of editing to this one. I wanted it to run raw. But at the end of this Zoom meeting, I will be back and I will tell you some truths about HyperVerse and all the hypers behind it that you may not be aware of. And also some places that you can hang out if you are looking to strategize on how you could actually help others or get your own money back. But please do not listen to these VIP5s. They are coming up with bullshit stories on how they're going to help you recover your money. So let's get straight into it and fade into it and let you have a listen and see what's happening. Any comments, please do put them below and I will personally answer them. Also, please do make sure you hit the thumbs up. Let's get this video out there. And also, if you can subscribe, hit the bell and be notified when new videos come out. Right, let's fade into it. Let's do it now.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to make a start. The first thing I have to do, apart from thanking everyone for being present, is to take...
So I'm just crashed a Zoom meeting. Obviously, HyperNation's fallen over. I'm in a community. They've asked me to jump on and record the meeting as these guys are now going to try pushing everyone onto another Ponzi scheme. It's going to be really interesting to listen to, so I'm just going to let you guys listen and stream.
And then that should be us pretty good until we get to a point deeper into the training, or more importantly, the communication. So
the training.
Make some adjustments to the chat. So the chat will be disabled primarily because we really do want to focus on what can I say, the information, and away we go. So with that being said, Mr. Clark, if I can ask you to do admissions for me whilst people are still streaming in, and we have Mr. Hepburn on hand to take care of the second part of the session. But before I get straight into it, again, I'm in a slightly different location in terms of where I'm doing the call from. So just want to make sure that everyone can hear me. So Mr. Hepburn, can you hear me loud and clear?
I can hear you, yes, sir.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, so ladies and gents, welcome to what is essentially a really special money call, in my opinion. I'm going to start out by saying that if we have the appetite to work together, despite the issues and the challenges and the sentiments and the feelings, and focus on solutions, I truly believe that we're in a situation where we could pull off something fairly amazing. I'm going to start off by saying that I'm going to share essentially part of the picture today, which is about essentially helping the community on a wider basis. And we will basically announce when we can complete that particular picture. So with that being said, you know, I'm going to just say that we all know the situation that we've been in over the last number of months for those of us that are in HyperNation, and you know, a year or so for those of us that are in HyperVerse, in terms of withdrawals and having the ability to make withdrawals, and for some not having the ability to having ever made any withdrawals through choice or through other reasons, and they have not been able to at least let's just say, draw down their one time a part of the narrative or part of our vocabulary now. And so we've had a choice to make, really, in terms of, do we stand still or do we move forward? And I think for those of you that were on the money call last week, we made it very clear that we're, as a group, the Crypto Abundance Group at least, are no longer waiting for HyperVerse and HyperNation to sort themselves out and for Satoshi AI to provide us with a verifiable business model. We're just deciding not to. So with that being said, we've taken the choice as a team, and I can't speak for teams outside of the Crypto Abundance Group. I can't do that. So I'm really speaking on behalf of Blockchain Lifestyles and the Crypto Abundance Group. I know there are individuals on this call that are not part of the team per se. However, you are welcome to this particular call because you may find this of interest to you to potentially help individuals in your team as well. So we've had the choice to make to either stand still or make progress. And so we've decided to make progress in the meantime. So I'm going to start off this particular call by asking a question, and it's a serious question. It's not one to be taken lightly. And the question really is, if there were a way to assist those who have not received their one.
I'm just saying hi to everyone that's tuning in on the live feed. Because somebody in the chat room, can they please tell me who this guy is? I know his name, I just can't remember it.
With that being said, I'm not sure, how everyone would respond to that. And I'm going to basically give everyone the opportunity to put a yes in a Y in the chat or an N in the chat if they feel inclined to do so. Only the co-hosts are going to be able to see that information. And understand this when I say this. This is a very, very serious question. I understand that there are, like I said before, a lot of dissatisfied individuals out there and some who are choosing not to be on this call. But this is about progress. This is about solutions. This is about looking to the future. So it's a serious question. If there were a way to assist those who have not received their one-times legally and legitimately, the question is, would I? And that's a question directed to you. So please feel free to put a Y in the chat if you would be up for that, or an N in the chat if not. So whilst you're answering that question, I'm just going to say that based upon a number of calls that we've had, there are options on the table in terms of how do we move forward from the HyperVerse, HyperFund,
Clayton
Satoshi
Ford.
chapter
That's who's talking.
To ensure that the people that we introduced, that we know, love, and trust, don't come out of this harm. And I want to make it very, very clear that
he's building a community feel and using every trick known to man
on this call to provide anybody with their 1x back or anything. That's not our responsibility. It's the responsibility of the organization, having said that they had 100 million, to basically, make people whole if things went wrong. No one knows where that 100 million has gone, and we're not going to spend any time dwelling on that. So there are a couple of avenues that have had to have been explored.
Bring out your Ponzi schemes.
We will be seeking legal advice, and we will continue to do that. Personally, I think that will be a long road in terms of looking to get any.
So they say that so you won't pursue that avenue. Go after your sponsor. That's how simple it is, guys.
Legally trained person, but I do know that we first of all have to, get into the right jurisdiction and basically engage.
Making excuses, telling you it's complicated.
Legal expertise in those locations.
Sign the petition.
So the reality of it is that today we're going to be focusing on just the HyperVerse situation for now. And I want to make this very, very clear. What we're about to talk about or make, open up the conversation about is not something that has to be done. It's something that we want to do. And so I want to make sure that everybody gets on the same page really, really quickly, that no one is entitled to their 1x or anything from anyone on this call.
Better follow the rules,
this is something that we're going to do as a group, or look to do as a group, to do the best we can to, do what the organization should have done a long time ago. But we're going to have to do it, with your help. No question about it. So legal advice is one thing. Personal recovery plans is another. So some of us have joined other opportunities where we are taking care of ourselves.
He's grooming you into thinking that you should join another opportunity.
$200 here, can we turn that into, 2,000 or 5,000 over a period of time? And there are a number of people that are doing that and have chosen that particular route to, let's just say,
Mr. Clayton, you are my project.
1x.
I'm going to go after you.
Taking personal responsibility for that. which is totally fine. The conversation that we're going to talk about today is that based upon the relationships that we have, and I'm talking about myself specifically and others as part of the Crypto Abundance Group and Blockchain
Putting themselves in the same boat.
There are commercial partnerships available to us that potentially we can, let's just say, take advantage of. And they have shown a willingness to help us if we are prepared to help ourselves.
You've all been scammed. There's no help available.
With that being said,
be a
everything
vigilante.
That we're going to talk about very briefly today, because the meat and the bones and the details
same
of that,
boat.
there are on another call. But what we have to assess is the appetite for us as a group to work together to provide a assistance, if you like, for the wider group. So in my words, in our words, it would be something along the lines of, we want you to help us, to help you, to assist us, to assist the community. Because we think it's, if we have any way, shape or form to do whatever we can fully or partially to help individuals get some of their money back or all of their money back that they haven't had the ability to withdraw, then we feel duty bound to at least explore as many avenues as we can. Rubbish. So here we are. The propositions that we'll come up with has to be free to participate. There will be no requirement for you to pay for anything in terms of the avenues that we're going to explore. So that is 100%, you know, a key thing to basically mention. And no, Angelo, it's not another pyramid scheme, question mark. No, it's not. Everything we're going to share here
yes, it is.
will not be involving network marketing, multi-level marketing.
Oh, my whole thing's around that.
It's just going to require you to have an open mind, to listen and to decide whether or not you want to be part of your own rescue plan. You know, we all have to decide whether we want to help ourselves if we're in the 1X situation, or whether we want to help the community and our friends and families as a whole. So everything that we will talk about tomorrow or the day after, whenever we get the chance to do part 2 of this, will be free to participate. I will say, however,
is it like when you signed up Stable Deo and you gave them all your passport and driver's license?
In order for us to do so, for reasons which I
cannot
disclose right now, but we have to act in haste. We have to be intentional about the simple steps and requests that we have of you, one of which we will reveal tonight, or 2 of which we will reveal tonight, the 3rd of which we will reveal on the next call that we do. So that's very, very important for everyone to understand. We're going to ask you to be very, very intentional if you are okay to assist us to help, you know, the community
you guys are going to
as
help
a whole. So with that being said, full participation, the maximum participation is going to be required. You know, and excuse the spelling mistake. I've just seen the spelling mistake there. But you understand, full participation is going to be required from us as a community if we choose to do so. And again, I'm speaking specifically about the Crypto Abundance Group first and foremost, and then the wider community, subject to, you know, the level of interest in terms of helping ourselves, because we're not going to it doesn't seem as if we're going to get any assistance or there's any follow through from HyperVerse. So like I said, we're just going to do what we can.
Just installing Telegram.
I
don't want it to pop up on the screen, sorry.
And move forward in that way.
Do you like my spaceship?
So step 1 is going to be asking you to go into your back office in HyperVerse to essentially get some information. And in the second part of this session, we're going to ask Mr. Hepburn just to, you know, go into a HyperVerse back office and just share with you the key information that we are going to require. And for the most part, the best way in which that is going to be done is by you literally videoing yourself, or should I say, you know, going on a Zoom and recording your actions. So you're going into your account and you are going to essentially go to the different screens and also to do some screenshots. What we're about to embark on is not going to be easy. It's not going to be quick. However,
but we'll get away with the
information that
money's
we
already gone,
require,
guys.
We're going to need that quickly. So that's going to be step 1. We're going to ask individuals to essentially gather.
Haven't done a Zoom for quite a long time, so it's quite exciting for me.
To basically help us in our endeavor. The second thing we're going to ask you to do is to go to, you know, essentially the United Nations website to find their 17 sustainable goals and just make a note of the one that would be of most interest.
Okay, this is disgusting. He is actually trying to align you with that. This is associated with the United Nations, whatever. This is just rubbish.
Goals. and just make a
trying to
note
make
of
out
the
that they're all
most-
official. This is a
most
scam,
interesting. No poverty, you know,
Don't care what he
no
says at the
hunger,
moment. This is all
good health
lies.
and well-being,
This is
etc.
not
There's
related.
17
This
of
is
them,
not connected.
and you can basically just make a note of the one
This
that
will
will
fool
be of
people.
most interest to you. Okay, just
Not the
make the
Crypto
one
Ponzi Scheme Avenger.
that's going to be of most interest to you. Someone has already said that we've already done this with Sam Lee. Brittany, I don't really care, and that's just me being blunt. What we're doing here has nothing to do with Sam Lee, has nothing to do with anything
Rubbish.
else. If you've done it with Sam Lee,
Okay, I'm going to cut him off anyway because Sam Lee's using the same code that was on the HyperNation website on his new website. You can see it in the HTML code. Look at my video.
For our team and for those who choose to participate. So that's all I can really say. So we're not going to speak about any other persons on this call from this moment on. If you want to help yourself or help your teams, then this is essentially what we need. So getting back to this one, so we're going to ask you to go to the UN website, find their 17 sustainable development goals, make a note of the one that's of most interest to you. Okay. All right. So with that being said, the third thing we're going to ask you to do is to join the next call that we do to basically kickstart the revival plan. And within that call is when we'll reveal the key things that we require you to do in order for this to basically have any chance of basically working for any
mentioned, Caroline.
of us.
Well done, you.
And I cannot stress enough. I cannot stress enough. This isn't something that one or two or three of us can do. This is going to require mass participation across the crypto abundance group and also the wider community.
Sign the petition. We have about 1,500 people ready to rock and roll.
It will not work if we don't achieve certain minimum objectives. And those objectives will be shared on the next call. And what we are going to be required to do to make it happen will be shared on the next call.
This is being recorded, and I will upload the proper version of it later. It's a bit rough. It's early in the morning for me here in Christchurch. I'm the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger, otherwise known as Danny the Hek. You might have read about me in the New York Times. My quest to name and shame anyone running a Ponzi scheme or a scam. Well, today we have Clayton Ford, who's addressing the community. We currently have only 550 people in a Zoom meeting who are sitting here listening to this crap thinking, is he for real? And we're going to tune in and listen to what he's saying. He's now on to step 3 of things you can do, which is really nothing. You might as well put your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye with your money, unfortunately, kids.
Certain level of trust in this team, and basically we are doing this not because we have to, but we feel it's the right thing to do, given that no one else seems to want to actually do it for us. So with that being said, 3 steps really. Number 1 is going to be, what? Let me just quickly go back, just so that we're very, very clear. Step 1 is we're going to require HyperVerse data. Robert, you can say trust and laugh, and I understand where that may be coming from. But understand this, HyperVerse is responsible for, the 1x and so on and so forth. We don't have to do this. I need to make this very, 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 very clear. Same to yourself, Brittany. I've got more trust in the government than any of you guys. Well, all I will say is that you don't have to participate, right?
Good stuff.
We are only interested in working with those who want to help themselves and their teams. And if you don't trust, then you just simply don't participate. It's simple as that, really. So with that being said, we're going to require HyperVerse data, number 1. Number 2, we're going to ask you to go to the UN website,
on the screen,
look at their 17 sustainable development goals, choose one that's, resonates with you. And then thirdly, join us on the next call that we do. I
can't believe he's brought up the UN 17 goal things, like they're in line with the United Nations.
And on the next
world peace.
We'll go into the details as to how we're going to do it. And we'll have, our corporate partners on to explain, how we're going to do it. Why 3 calls? I can't say that right now. But we have reasons for doing what we're doing. And that's all I can say right now.
Sorry if I'm over talking him.
If you're interested, we've waited a year plus with HyperVerse. 48 hours, I don't think, is going to be any more.
Nor is 10 years.
So with that being said, so step 3 to join the next call that we do, and more detail will be shared. Someone has said, do we have to record ourselves obtaining the HyperVerse data?
Oh my God.
I think that would be certainly important to do because we're going to need to be able to validate information And screenshots are one thing. Great. We're going to require screenshots as well. But also having that video is also going to be able to validate those screenshots. There's going to be a lot of work involved to be able to determine, you know, essentially the numbers that may be needed and so on and so forth. So this is not going to be easy. This is not going to be easy. If you've already received your 1x, then I would say still participate. Definitely still participate because you will help. You may be helping others to basically get their 1x that are in your team.
You're so kind.
So full participation is required by everyone, I would suggest, to help us, to help those and assist those that have not received their 1x. So all of us will basically help those that have not received their 1x. That's really what this is about.
All doing your part to the human race.
Yes, you will get some instructions on
Let's bring in the United Nations.
The second part of this session, it's not going to be long. I am going to introduce a gentleman that I've pretty much run with the entire journey with HyperVerse and HyperNation, Mr. Rannal Hepburn, very experienced trainer. And I'm going to ask him literally just to, you know, go through the HyperVerse accounts, if you like, and go into the key sections that we are going to require information from. I will say this is a very, very fast work in progress. So we may not be perfect, you know, on this first call and so on, but progress over perfection is really what we're going for here.
Said, mate.
But we do need to act
do this
fast,
for a living, be a scammer.
in order to basically ignite our own revival plan. We're not waiting for HyperVerse recovery plans anymore, Satoshi FRAs. We're not doing that. We are doing it on our own, and but we cannot do it on our own. So
now just remember, he will push you into another Ponzi scheme and another opportunity, and they're all owned by the same company.
So with that being
We've
said,
proved that.
I'm going to, you know, just check if Mr. Hepburn is indeed ready, and you know, ready to rock and roll. And if you are, just give me a big signal, sir, and then I will essentially allow you to share and take it from here.
Yes, sir. I am ready. I'm just going to make sure that there's nothing else identifiable on my screen before I share.
Screenshot it.
And I say that from experience of somebody screenshotting my back office and then posting it in other groups.
So, no. Who would do that?
So, yes. Am I good to go, Mr. Ford?
You are good to go. What I'm going to do whilst you're going through is I can see quite a few questions from individuals. If I don't answer your question or we don't answer your question directly, we will do the best we can to do it whilst we're on this call today. But more specifically, a lot of the questions that you're asking, we will definitely be answering on the next call that we do. This call is really an awareness piece to give you some homework to do, which is crucial to do within the next 24 to 48 hours.
Circus animals, that's what he's treating you like.
Basically, the next call, we'll go into more detail. So all I can say, ladies and gents, is if we are genuinely interested in participating in our own rescue plan, our own revival plan, then this is one way that we basically found to be able to do so. So with that being said, Mr. Hepburn, I'm going to hand over to you.
Okay, so thank you. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. I just want to double check. Mr. Ford, can you see my screen?
I can see your screen, and we're recording as well, so we are good to go.
Hello, please log in.
Okay.
My name is Scammer.
The 3 bits of information that are going to be required are deposit information and withdrawal information if you have it, because I know that the withdrawal information is restricted in the back office, and also exchange information. So when you swapped tokens from HU.
When you're in your account, if the person that set it up for you had paid for it 50% USDT and 50% HyperVerse dollars, you need to get into our Telegram group and come in contact, because these guys look to be doing money laundering, and that is normally a telltale sign that they've been handling the money. And if so, you can take your sponsor to court.
Right.
EMP 1210. Who would have a username like that? Edburn. Was he born 2010?
So what you want to be doing is logging into your HyperVerse account.
They still have that stupid problem. Keychain. Get access to that.
Okay. And first things first, if you go to your assets, which is in the option towards the top to the right.
New word for meaning for
And the first thing you want is your deposit information. And the place to get that is from your deposit line on your assets. If you click on it, it will give you all of your deposit information. So this particular membership had a transfer in on the 24th of March 2021, and they acquired a membership. So we can see that audit trail. Okay. So what we'd like is a screenshot of this that you see, and basically as much data as you can on there, just to clarify what your input is. With regards to this
is all bullshit and you don't actually need to listen to it, but just in here, while you're in here, I've been told that you can actually see how your initial account was set up. So he's bought a $1,500 account and he's used all HU. Not everyone's got that. If yours is different, find our Telegram group and we'll help you, give you some interesting information about that.
And then clicking on the 3 lines in the top right hand corner. Now you'll notice that this account has no exchange records. So the likelihood is that this account has not done any withdrawals.
Oh,
so if
naughty.
I just pop back here, and if I go and look for the withdrawal information within financial, I'll be clicking on withdraw, and then going into the top right hand corner where the 3 lines are, clicking on the 3 lines, and you'll see that there is no withdrawal record there for that one. But if you obviously have some data there, then take a screenshot of it and do the recording, and then we can get that. So just so we're clear, we would like the deposit information, which you can get from your deposit line in assets. So you go to your deposit line, you click on deposit, and you can screenshot that information there.
Simple.
Okay.
If they've got no money, you'll never get your money back. Okay, sorry.
The other piece of information you want is from your financial wallet. You want the exchange information. You click on exchange, click on the 3 lines in the top right hand corner, and then there'll be some information in there. And then also your withdrawal information, you click on withdraw, go to the top right hand corner.
I don't think that's his real account, just saying.
Screenshot your withdrawal records as well. That is as simple as it gets for now. And Mr. Ford, back to you, sir.
Oh, that was easily.
Awesome. Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. So let me just quickly, if you keep your screen on, Mr. Hepburn, that would be great.
Okay.
So
Mr.
when
Hepburn,
one of the questions was
going to jail.
How do individuals go about recording their screen?
Just hold a TV remote.
How do individuals go about recording their screen? So what you do is, you can either just set up a Zoom, which is free, and just literally go into Zoom and basically record your own screen. So you can do it via Zoom. That will be fantastic.
Look, don't even bother doing any of this, guys. Just go after your sponsor, the person that introduced you to it, for providing financial advice, even if it is a family member or a friend. This is how these Ponzi schemes get away with it. Doing all this circus act information, doing screenshots, and then truttling off to a lawyer. They're just going to laugh at you, and you're just going to be wasting time. And in the meantime, they get further and further away from taking your money.
So obviously, we'll find out who's really struggling, and we'll take it from there, really. The other thing I will say is when you go into the different areas that Mr. Hepburn just went through, and again, we will do another recording of what we require. We will require literally for you to scroll all the way down so we can see the oldest information, and then gradually scroll up, so that we can see up to the newest information. And we want you to do it at a slow enough pace, not to fall asleep, but also to give us the opportunity to see the details and so on. The other thing is, so for every screen, please do that to be nice and slow so we can basically see everything. And then also, once you finish recording, complement that with screenshots as well. So it's going to be a lot of toing and froing, but it's going to be worthwhile doing that just to basically
people in the window
ensure that we have the information. And Mr. Hepburn's given an example there of he's gone right down to the bottom of his screen and he's gently scrolling up to the top of his screen, and that basically takes care of the entire membership. Mr. Hepburn, someone's asked, how do we know whose membership it is? So the bottom line is that you all have a user ID. And so we will be asking you for your user information and your email address to be able to verify the account that's being spoken about. And again, you'll come here as well just to basically confirm who
can't wait for the sales pitch
by username and email.
It's going to be good.
And then obviously,
what do you think he's going to push you into?
So there'll be some basic information capture required. So there's quite a few questions going on. For example, if you've got multiple accounts for your children, we're going to need that information. If you've got multiple accounts for your children, then we're going to need that same information for each of those accounts for your family members, right? So that's a given. Let me just see if there's a couple of other questions. But what we will do is literally take this chat with the questions in it. So if I basically say we're going to literally end this call in 6 minutes, then please get as many of your questions in the chat as possible, so we can review this tomorrow and basically, sort of understand what types of questions we need to be prepared to answer on the next call once we are able to share with you exactly what it is that we need to do to participate in our own revival plan. So someone's asked, do we block out our HVID? So I believe we've answered that question now. We need that information to, verify that the account is, connected to, connected to the person who's recording it and so on. And we'll tell you where we'll need that information.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a live feed, what do they call it?
So what I'm going to say is that this is not going to be easy. I'm going
to put a Zoom link in the chat window of this video, and we're going to have a Zoom meeting afterwards if anyone wants to join in.
Individuals out there that will, not feel comfortable participating, focus on the issues with HyperVerse and HyperNation rather than, focusing on the solution that we are attempting to or bringing to the table. All I can say is I just hope that individuals can participate to, help us to get past this stage. Because like I said before, HyperVerse is not going to do it. Patricia says, do I need to show my face or just my hands moving around the screen? We just really need to see your screen. Just need to see your screen, don't need to see your face, just need to know the ID, the name, and so on. If, put this way, if the solution provider, if that makes sense, requires more information, then they will request it. And if it requires additional, personal verification, then they will request that. But, what we will share tomorrow will go into more details on that. But this isn't an opportunity for an organization or persons to be defrauded. This is a very serious matter that we're dealing with here, looking to, let's just say, do the right thing. For
do the right thing now.
Our teams. Like I said,
waving your flag at the finish line, you idiot.
Focused on the Crypto Abundance Group first, but obviously we have a wider community to take care of. So we'll use our group, if you like, as almost like a testing bed to make sure everything's working properly. But this is something that is going to be made available to the wider community, providing we know that it's the right part of the communities. And I think you may understand what I'm saying without saying it. So with that being said, keep the questions coming.
Okay, this will be good.
Keep the questions coming.
I'm surprised I'm still in here, but I've come in under a
noted, obviously,
hidden name this time.
I'm genuinely excited, Mr. Hepburn. Is there anything you wanted to say? I see your mouth moving around there vigorously.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, added on to what I showed as well as obviously sharing your asset information. Let me just, when you come in, go to account first so you can display your username and your email address, and then move on to assets, and then show the asset information, the deposits, and then the
this is a year old, guys.
Exchanges, and then
they've already done this.
So show your account information is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So yeah, I mean, bottom line is, and again, Mr. Hepburn will do a short video for everyone that's wanting to participate. We'll make that available with the instructions and data that we need. And then once we are ready to share the next part of the plan with you, we'll basically call another call and invite everyone on, and you know, basically see where we go from here. But all I can say is, I personally, you know, I'm excited that there is an opportunity at least to do some good in this particularly difficult chapter, no question about it. And I really want to make this very, very clear. The partners that we're going to introduce that want to assist have no connection to any of the previous projects. This is something that they have made clear that they would like to be able to do. They've made it very clear as to
scam people
what will need to be done
and
to
be
make
involved
it successful.
in the cleanup.
And we're
It's
just
noble.
going to, you know, again, share that information with you on the next call. There is no entitlement.
All right, Mr. Clayton, tell us how much money you have taken in from being associated with all the hypers.
Individual and collective.
If you want to be transparent and helpful.
What I will say is that the naysayers are not welcome. We
Oh,
know
not
that not everybody's going to be on side. We have individuals in the chat at the moment making a fool of themselves, and I won't call out any names. But the reality of it is we focus on the bigger picture. We understand that everybody's at a different level of growth in terms of their relationship with money, their attitude to risk, their approach to investing, their approach to business and life in general. We just want to
sorry guys, hope you're not trying to listen to this dribble.
As many as we possibly can, and we will have our own, let's just say, grading system as to, you know, who gets helped first and so on and so forth. There has to be a mechanism to identify those that are, you know, most at risk, if you like, and so on and so forth. So with that being said, all I can say, ladies and gents, is the intention is real from our side. The intention needs to be real from your side, from the community side, in order for this to stand any chance whatsoever. Once again, I'll repeat, this has nothing to do with any of the hyper projects, Satoshi AI, Sam Lee, Ryan Zhu.
Yeah, but you're using the same code on your website, you dumbass.
This is an initiative that has been born out of the Crypto Abundance Group. And we want to, you know, basically launch it successfully with the support of our group, and then, you know, basically make it available to the wider group. But the more participation that we have collectively across the board gives the entire project the most opportunities to succeed, and therefore to impact the most persons across any group. So like I said before, this is crucial. So the next 24 to 48 hours in terms of data capture.
Right, if you want to come in the Zoom meeting after this dribble,
very crucial. We've got
to go to the live chat.
So let me just quickly
go to the live chat, click on the link. We're going to go into a Zoom meeting straight after this dribble finishes.
Shared before, just for those that
I want to know how you feel. I'll tell you some truths. I'll answer some questions you wouldn't even known about HyperVerse.
Literally just to say,
I know who's got all the money.
We've come into this particular call asking a simple question. If there were a way to assist those who have not received their 1x legally and legitimately, would you be willing to participate and assist? You know, there are avenues that we're going down as a group. You know, we have the legal advice route. So again, that's going to be ongoing. We have individuals who have taken personal responsibility for their own recovery plans. So they've joined other opportunities, they've invested elsewhere, and they've got their own recovery plan in place. And then the option that we're exploring collectively is essentially commercial partnerships. So we're going to bring a commercial partner to the table that wants to assist, but we'll be very clear about the parameters on the which they can assist. And it's very, very important to understand that this isn't something that has to be done by anybody. No one is entitled to, you know, the outcomes, but we are, once we all dive in and do the best we can to pull together to make this happen, then, you know, those that you have introduced with that's not had their 1x and so on will have a better opportunity for that to become real. It's like everything we speak about will be free to participate. You're not going to be asked to put money into any project.
You will. You watch. They lure you into it. They'll warm you up and they'll tell you about another opportunity they've just got involved in. It sounds really good.
You'll be free to participate. Like I said,
no such thing as free lunch, mate.
Require the next 24 to 48 hours is crucial in terms of getting that data. Full participation is really going to be the key to this, even having a chance to work.
Need some speaker training here, bro.
Step one is we're going to...
Every time you feel like saying an arm, just pause.
That we just ran through very, very quickly. We'll
provide
a very small training video on how to do that, what we need, and we need that within the next 24 to 48 hours.
We need this.
Step two, we're going to ask you to go to the UN website where they have their 17 sustainable development goals on. And we're going to ask you...
I can't believe he's trying to connect this all to the UN website. World peace!
Is basically to ensure that you make yourself available for the next call that we have to basically kickstart the revival plan. There will be some very specific actions that we will invite you to take on that call and beyond that call. And I believe that we are likely to consider a marathon of sorts where we just literally stay online with everyone to basically take the actions required to really give this the best opportunity to work. So this could be a 24-hour rolling thing. So someone's asked, what is the UN website? Somebody kindly put the website in the chat before, but if they don't do it again, then I'm happy to do that just before we wrap up. So ladies and gents, step 3 is going to be within the next 24 to 48 hours, more likely 72 actually. We need 24 to 48 to start doing some data capture. We'll get that training video out as soon as we possibly can, more than likely tomorrow morning / afternoon. No pressure, Mr. Hepburn. And then basically we will announce the date for the next call. But,
you're a savior.
I know my commercial partners or the commercial partners really want to get this done as a matter of urgency, because there's a window of opportunity to be capitalized on for the group as a whole. Yeah, that's basically it, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm doing a live broadcast,
just really want to say, you know, just keep the faith. And I know.
Would you believe?
From a different,
they're telling people,
the HyperVerse and so
we're live.
But
they're telling people to go to the United Nations website.
For those of you that know
go
us,
through 17
know that,
positive information things,
and
like they're
when we
connected
say
to the
faith
United Nations or
help
something
us
stupid.
to help you to assist us to assist the community, that's really going to be the rallying cry for this particular chapter. So with that being said,
Mr. Hepburn,
just want to encourage everyone to have themselves a
we're
fantastic
streaming live.
All of the questions have been captured in the chat. And we really look forward to getting back to you with specific information and allowing you to take the time to
I'll send you a link.
Live video and
click on it and watch it.
And we come back to the table with a very, very specific set of actions for the next stage. So with that being said, ladies and gents, take care. Thank you very much for your time, attendance and participation. And we genuinely look forward to making this a reality. So let's go do this. And Dale, thank you very much. So let me just grab this and put this in the chat so everyone can see this.
All right, so we're going to go live straight after this on a
so that is essentially the
handful of people who have a Telegram group who are passionate about you know, getting this getting their money back, really, or doing justice. More about justice. I think they've come to terms that they've lost their money.
One of those resonated with you the most, and what we do with that information again, we'll share on a step-by-step basis. But with that being said, thank you very much, and we really look forward to this becoming a success. So we'll leave the call open for a little bit longer.
Can we ask questions?
And just let any last-minute questions go in the chat. And yeah, we will close officially in the next 3 minutes at 25 past. So with that being said, take care, everyone. This is the last you'll hear from me, Mr. Hepburn. Thank you very much. And co-hosts, thank you very much. And for all of the leaders on the call, thank you very much for attending. And for all the groups on the call, thank you very much for attending. Take care for now.
All right. So there was 500 and whatever people in there. And now what I've done is I've kept this live chat window open, and we're going to go do a Zoom. You don't have to put your face on it, but I've got a few people that are quite happy to come into a Zoom and talk about how they felt about this. So I'm going to actually... I don't want that music. Goodness me, it'll get me banned on YouTube playing other people's music. All right, so I need to find my own link to my own Zoom meeting, and let's see if I can do that. Here it is. And I'll share some information in here for you. So I'm now going to go onto a Zoom meeting, and you'll probably see two lots of Danny. Leave and join. Launching meeting. Doing things live is really dangerous because a lot of things can pop up on your screen and people do screenshots. That's what happened to Clayton Ford. Or was it Mr. Hepburn? Somebody screenshot his back office. They saw they'd had a lot of money. Oh, look at that. There I am. First, before we get going, let me do some homework here because I haven't had this. So what, I'm going to stop the video. No, I'm not. I'm going to... how do I get my background? I don't want that background. That's what I play when... people. I'm just going to go full screen browser. Yeah. Oh, that's scary. Big head. All right, come in here. We're still broadcasting live. Look in the chat window for the link to the Zoom meeting. I'm going to change my background when I figure out how to do it. Ah, there it is. Choose virtual background. Right. Let's see. What do we want? Let's go spaceship. Oh, yeah, that's my picture. That's my picture. All right, that's better. All right. Why do I have to be so big? Anyone want to come in? You come in here. We're recording. It's a bit jumpy because I'm streaming live and I'm using software. So I'm actually recording this at the same time. So after this is finished, I'll upload the YouTube channel. And while I'm waiting for others to pop into this Zoom meeting of Danny D. Hex, by all means, I am the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger. Ooh, Michael Lucas. Woohoo! And I am your savior from HyperVerse. Oh, Mike, mate. Nice to see you. Nice.
Hi.
Hey, good on you, mate. So nice to see you here. Now, you are a hero and you don't even realize it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I wish I was hero going to get my money.
Yeah. Well, we tried to cause as much ruckus as we could with your story. And I know it was a personal story and you manned up and let us share that, and we managed to get you in the New York Times. So well done, mate. Yeah.
Thank you.
But you haven't got your money yet, I presume.
Nah.
No.
Someone did reach out to me.
Don't say anything that you'll regret live, mate.
No, nothing from the Hyper family.
Hey, good. Yep.
As they call themselves, family.
Yep.
If I had needed a family like that, I would never want a family in my life.
That's definitely one way to look at it, mate. No, that's yeah. Oh, but I don't even know how to say the word. But I can't pronounce one. It's a shabarkle. Shabarkle. It's just.
Yeah, that's close.
Yeah. I feel for everyone that's got involved and trusted these people, even listening to that broadcast that we just listened to of Terry Clayton, and they still think they have a right to groom people and build trust.
And who's gonna go through all that screenshot crap? That's a bunch of crap. If they all these thousands of people that money that's taken, and everybody have to go through all those screenshots and all of that they talking about doing. If somebody said, well, how will you know who the person is?
Yep.
That's one of the questions.
Yeah. No, it's just ridiculous. We've got somebody else in here.
Yeah.
Is it Valerie? Am I saying that right?
I'm closing me out, Danny.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not my face is not the presentable face.
You said that last time, mate. It's very authentic. That's good. I'll be the only one with a face on the internet soon. Everyone will be hiding, but that's fine with me.
Well, you the Avenger, so you good.
Yeah. Oh, it is so nice to see you. I mean, we've never chatted after that day that we had you on the video.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. But yeah, you're pretty cool. Oh, look, iPhone's popped up.
I'm so thankful of what you're doing.
Oh, good on you, mate. It's been a pleasure. It really has. Yeah, no, you've done a good job. So, hey, so what did everyone else think about that? Hello.
Hi, Danny.
How you going? That was pretty cool, wasn't it? Nice to meet you in person, as they say. I'm in the metaverse.
That was interesting. Oh, I love your background.
I know. It's put me in a lot of trouble. That's the one I used when I said I'm the savior from HyperVerse. Yeah. Now we are broadcasting live. We've just carried on the play that we did have, and it will be a bit jumpy if you're watching. Feel free to jump into the Zoom meet and have a yarn. We're actually a Telegram group called HyperFraud, and we're people that would really want to come up with innovative ways to actually go after the people that have introduced us to these terrible, well, not me, but you guys, into these terrible Ponzi schemes.
Yeah. No, definitely. Is it, who else is coming in?
Well, we've got 6 people, including me.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. So anyone want to introduce themselves? I mean, what about you starting and tell us your brief story? Like, people are sometimes interested to know how much money people put in, how long you've been in it for, when did you realise it was a scam? 3 questions all in one go.
Yes. I will start. So, hi, I'm Carol Ann.
It's not AA.
I joined last March.
Yep.
I didn't put in a huge amount. I put in 1,000, but my dad put in 10,000. So that's why I think by now I probably would have walked away, just because of everything that's happened, not just the money, but the time wasted. I think when I realised that it was a scam, was nearer the end of last year, because I didn't pay it a lot of attention for a while. But Danny, I had seen some of your videos. I'd heard about you, but obviously
I got mental problems.
You know, you were dismissed as having mental health issues.
I have.
And I mean, I'm not surprised after you spent time investigating these guys.
That's my case. It's true.
Yeah, I think we've all got bloody mental health issues now. But it's definitely towards the end of the last year, I realised, you know what? Yeah, this is definitely not what we thought. Also, it's just how the people have handled it on the Zooms, the gaslighting, the awful behaviour. As soon as you speak out,
listening to Brittany Smart and Carl, the other guy, talking about getting into hypercosmos. You know, all these things. I keep having flashbacks of these. I've watched these Zoom meetings over and over again as I'm doing videos over them, and they're just the techniques they're using.
I know it's awful, and you know, anyone speaks out, they get shut down. I think that's when I really realised, okay, something's not right here, because when it was working, shall we say, even though I never really experienced that because I just kept my money in there, it was all positive. You know, people were being nice, they would answer any question. Then as soon as someone had a question that they didn't like, you got thrown out of Zooms, you got called abusive. They tried to cut you off from anyone else so you couldn't talk to other people. I mean, it's just been absolutely shocking behaviour. Yeah,
not like you'd expect from a genuine company that you can theoretically now take to court and sue and prosecute. Yeah. I think one thing I used to always think when I used to do these Ponzi schemes way at the start, I used to think greedy people who want to get rich quick are all in these Ponzi schemes. And then I actually interviewed Mike Lucas, which is in this meeting right now, and he took out all his pension fund because people like Pinnicky Nark had told people that the government is running a Ponzi scheme with people's pension fund, and he put it all into HyperVerse, and he lost a lot. And then I realized is actually people are doing this out of desperation. I mean, Mike didn't have a lot of money, but you know, he's 62 or 61 years of age now, which is the demographics they go after. They build trust in these meetings, and then they just grab out and take their money, and they're quite happy to walk away and say they have no liability for their actions. And that's what, you know, that's what's really got me on the high horse with this quest to get these guys.
No, 100%. It's the way they, you know,
Valerie's
the way
back
they
in the
deal
car
with people.
Yep.
It was 26,000, Danny.
26, yes. Yeah. We've got a bit of background noise there, Mr. iPhone, but that's all right. So Yeah. So what I'm thinking of is a lot of people have said, what can we do about it? We've got the petition going. They've got people
Wait, can
that
you
are...
hear me?
Sorry?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How you doing, bro?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know my mic was live.
Oh, just
And
where you went in the loo.
here with me watching the Champions League football on TV.
Oh,
sorry
who's winning?
about that. That was it's all over. Man City are through to the final. Real Madrid got a spanking at 4-0, and it's all done and dusted.
Well, we don't...
Man City versus Inter Milan.
You call it football. In New Zealand, we call rugby football, and we have a different shaped ball.
Now you see the funny thing there.
And when we score, we get
Football,
5 points, not one.
Which they call soccer in America. It's actually football in the UK and the world over, but it's okay.
Yeah. Now I know the voice. Is that Doctor?
It is.
Ah, that's good. We have never met before, so this is great. Yeah. So what my strategy is, which I've said a few times, I believe that we should be a bit nastier with who we go after, and I think the sponsor who introduced you into it is your best shot personally. All this class action lawsuit stuff sounds good in theory, you know, and the government's going to catch up with them. But what I've been doing is collecting data on everybody that's been promoting these Ponzi schemes and scams, because they all jump from one to the other. Now you watch Clayton Ford, he will be in another Ponzi scheme right now. Does anyone know which one?
Horizon Bank.
Hey?
They sent me a email saying something about Hyper Planet.
Yeah, that's still HyperNations. I think.
It's the same.
From the HyperVerse. The thing that Clayton is promoting right now, that he's got shares and he's way out in front on this, is the Horizon Bank.
And so they don't stop.
Is that? And what is that? Is that another? Is that another thing like this, like Hyper?
Yes, because 2 weeks ago, as opposed to the call that I was on last week, where he threw me out, I rejoined, and then basically changed my name, and then he allowed me to speak, and then basically called me names. I'm still angry about that.
Did he call you names, mate? What did he call you?
Oh,
dyslexic.
He said
cheap suit.
No, he said that I was aggressive, abusive.
Mate.
I find myself calling other members, and I'm thinking, hang on, mate. It's the community.
You've got to be passive, mate.
Reach out.
You've got to be a passive caterpillar.
That's nuts. So I did that, but in the meeting previous, which I got the recording of, he basically said, I think HyperVerse is dead. He then went on to say, we did a leadership summit in Egypt, and we did a team building exercise. We walked up a hill, and it was great. And I went, you're joking, right? And then he finished off, I got 2 people here. And whilst he was doing the Zoom, he was running ads for Horizon Bank.
Wow.
So if you can imagine, like we're on this Zoom now, you know how they play the videos of people speaking? Imagine one of those being 3 minutes long. Horizon Bank. Join the Horizon shares. Get your shares on the right. You know what? No.
Wow.
And I think Rannal, who was the guy that kind of like introduced me, he kind of fears where I'm coming from, because pretty much like Danny, I got my own YouTube channel, but I deal with like
that's your podcast,
the following all over the world. I'm going to start killing him with it. He's been to the house. I basically taught him how to DJ a little bit and helped him out.
Rannal?
Yeah.
Well, I can DJ.
Your house?
Yeah, he knows where I live. He's been to my house, came in the Range Rover.
Wow.
Wow. I'd love to go to the IRD and figure out how much income these guys actually have to merit driving around in a $100,000 plus vehicle. That's what I reckon.
Did you not hear on the Zoom when he was saying, I've got to be very careful because people screenshot my back office and then share. Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
I shared his HyperNation that showed that he had 3.6 million.
Yeah. Hey, just a public announcement, mate. Just wait a sec. I just want to make people aware that I am broadcasting this live on the internet, even though it says it's not with Zoom. So if you do want to have your face, have it on. But if you want your privacy, just make sure you keep your camera off. Then there's no problems with that at all. Sorry, mate, carry on.
Yeah, well, like I said, if it's transparent, then he should have had no qualms in terms of what it is that he's got. But it's kind of odd in terms of how you amass such a great deal of money in such a short space of time on the HyperNation.
Yeah. I had one guy phone me telling me that he was a faith healer in a church, and he introduced 180 people into HyperVerse, and it made him $200,000, and his team is now 6,000 in size because other people took off with it. And he was recording the HyperCommunity meetings for me using the church equipment, and then sending me the link because they were feeding it to the congregation via email after the meetings to encourage the congregation to invest. So that just tells me these guys are ruthless. You know, if you can't go to a church and not get scammed,
yeah,
and be faith healed at the same time,
it's unbelievable. It is. The whole thing is unbelievable. And I think now people have had enough. Like before, people had enough but didn't know where to turn and didn't know who to get in touch with because you were just shut down anywhere you tried to speak. Whereas now I think people are finding each other and thinking, you know what, this isn't good enough anymore. Like, it's not okay. It's been going on for such a long time. And people just want answers. People want, you know, to find out. And all the, you know, that meeting we were just on about our 1X coming back. I mean, where the hell has that come from? It's like he's literally taken what Sam Lee did 2 months ago or 3 months ago.
Yeah.
With having to fill in these questionnaires, even though we know that's rubbish. This is still rubbish. It's all it's just, again, diversion. They're trying to distract people. And in the meantime, they will introduce another scam, which is what you've just said, Doctor, with the Horizon Bank.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah. So give you an idea where the money's gone, because I gave a crypto address of a withdrawal for $842 million that has been tracked by people who are very clever, and they said it got broken into small wallets. So Kalpesh Patel, when he left, he told he was talking to Sam Lee, and Sam Lee was saying that they had transferred the money out of HyperVerse into Bitcoin wallets. And he said also they never did any whale trading, which they theoretically had been telling the VIP5s, nor had they been investing in any startups. And then they offered him, Kalpesh Patel, a ridiculous sum of money to do a slow exit strategy for HyperVerse. And he refused, threw his hands up in the air, and then went off to promote GS Partners. At that time, I can't say the name properly, but you got Troy, Marcus, and another guy with the Toshubi show. They ran a Zoom meeting, and they had 5,000 people in the Zoom meeting, and then they dropped another opportunity in the Zoom meeting for Novatech FX, and they said you should diversify your money. So once that happened, 2 days after that was when Keith Williams announced he was the global sales representative for HyperNation and washing his hands of HyperVerse. Right. And I reckon that he was offered the money that Kalpesh was offered to do a slow exit strategy. So that was in December. Brenda Chunder got hauled in by somebody for questioning. And then you've got, all of a sudden, she's good friends with Keith. Keith must have got tipped off, and Keith has never been seen since, except on his own community. They say that he had stage 4 cancer. I waited a month before I did any talk about that on the internet. And, you know, being such a community guy, you know, a religious guy, a family guy, no one has ever come out to give any authenticity with that, whatever that word is. So that's where we stand. So I think it's all caught up with Keith Williams. And now they're trying to trap Sam Lee, you know.
We don't hear from any of these people. No. Her name was Jackie, Brenda Chanda, Keith Williams. Jackie was with another person. I forget what the guy's name was. All of these people that was always promoting the HyperVerse, they all disappeared.
Yeah, they haven't. I've got databases of them all. Let me go through some of the names. I'm going to actually read them out because these are the people I've been following for the last 12 months.
Kalpesh Patel, Keith Williams, Brenda Chunga, Bitcoin Rodney, Ryan Shu, Sam Lee, Jaden Way, Ronna Joel, Chris Hector, Grigorij Richters, Roman Lethoiser, Stephen Rees-Lewis, Goran Hamstrom, Tammy Jackson, Mick Mulcahy, Amanda Lee, Sheila Morris, Yvonne Henry, Susan Lawrence, Valerie Graham, Binaki Naik, Jackie Holness, Vivian O'Callaghan, Des Amy, Olet Ryu, Clive Bond, Whitney Smart, Blurry-Faced Suckerfish Lady, Sharon James, Dizzy Taylor, Tracy Cassidy, Clayton Ford, Valeria Campbell, Yvonne Henry.
Do you remember hear those names?
I recognize some of those names.
Yeah, and they have gone through the woodwork, but they've all gone on to other Ponzi schemes. So, you know, people like me are out there, you know, literally going after these guys and following them around and causing a lot of, what do you call it? Disruption. But that's the only way I think we can actually have a say in shutting these guys down. There's only so many stupid people out there, but they're just trying to, you know, rinse the blood out of a stone by squeezing it as much as they can by going after the people who are hopeful, still using that community spirit and we're working for you guys and all this sort of crap. Makes me vomit.
I know, but it's got to come to a point where people realise, but I worry that people aren't going to realise.
They
because
won't.
People are desperate and they think that these guys potentially are good guys. I mean, I don't understand, because they've only got to see how people have been spoken to. But now that the chats are disabled and people can't see what each other is writing, you know, it's a massive red flag. They know that they do not want people getting in touch with each other. They don't want, you know, they don't want anyone being able to talk because they know that everyone's angry. It's crazy. And it's crazy how anyone can have trust in these guys.
Yeah. You know, I used to crash these Zoom meetings and get kicked out, but I used to sit there for a while. You know, I only did that probably about 5-6 times, believe it or not. And the rest of the time I was just listening to other Zoom meetings. And I, you know, like the psychology behind it is just, you can't process it. You know, and they really have this, you know, like people go, oh, you know, HyperVerse has stolen our money. It's actually the multi-level marketers that have stolen the money, because they can often get their money out straight away. And, you know, and then they start scamming the scam. So they create these multiple accounts. And the reason why they create the multiple accounts is so that when somebody drops in at the top, they get the 52% of rewards. And then I've got videos of Kalpesh showing people how they've merged down the accounts to get the rewards out. And that was a strategy that the VIPs were using. So here they are on these Zoom meetings telling everyone that this is an opportunity of a lifetime, knowing that they're scamming HyperVerse at the time. So
that's how Keith Williams bought his house in Dubai.
Oh.
He was drawing out money, thousands of millions of dollars.
Yeah. He's getting done for tax fraud, Mike. Don't ask me how I know, but he's getting done for tax fraud. It will come out. It will take a year, but it doesn't get your money back.
But do you know what? You know, the money, obviously, I think for me, you know, I can't speak for everyone else, because obviously the money is very important. But now, for me, it's almost like what's just as important is these people get what's coming to them, because
that's how I feel too.
Yeah, because the money, you know, I've kind of almost made peace with that anyway. It's just these people cannot get away with it, and the fact they're now changing their narrative is making me think, okay, they know that people are onto them. You know, they were always before shutting everyone down. I mean, they're still shutting people down, but the difference is they're almost trying to be nicer to people now, like, oh, we're on your side. Whereas about a month ago, it was all our fault that it was going wrong, because apparently, you know, if we'd have been tuned into the Zooms for the last year, we would have been okay.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to, I never go on the Zooms. I went on about 3, but I remember saying to Clayton Ford, I wrote it down and I said, so if we'd have been on the Zooms, would that mean our money would have magically appeared? No. But at this point, I didn't get thrown off. I left it because I thought I cannot listen to any more of this absolute rubbish. It just used to anger me. It angered a lot of other people. The energy was awful. But people feel like they have to be on them because they think they're missing out on ways to get their money back.
Yep.
And even like tonight, you know, it's just madness. It's absolute madness. And you start to think, wow, this really is a cult.
Yeah. The psychology behind it. Sorry, mate. Go.
If I could take you back to, say, a year ago, and if we go back a year ago, the Zooms always used to start with the video, motivational speech, and then somebody would then pipe up, whether it be Rannal or whoever it was, Clive Bond,
Mario,
and they would absolutely pillarize, like this person's a martyr, our imperious leader that works so hard, and we are not worthy. And I then realized that when they were like saying, "Oh, we've got a new VIP 5, blah blah blah, welcome to the club," but it was the same names that I kept hearing these names. And I'm thinking, right, okay, so these guys know each other. So I started to follow that quietly. I didn't say anything to anybody, me and a friend of mine. And we then started to piece it together that all these people, Kalpesh, Keith, Clayton, all of them, they all know each other, and they move from scheme to scheme. And they run the same MO. They come in, they big each other up, and they get people to join underneath them, with them sat in the prominent positions. And then by the time it's time for us to get our money out, they've already had theirs out 2 or 3-fold, and they're gone.
That's right.
And when I say they're gone, they can't answer your questions. They can't help you, and they call you names, and they accuse you of this, and it's like even in the chat.
But
I put in some questions.
You know how they stopped us? They stopped us because they wanted us to buy that NFT, those green and yellow NFT things.
Didn't you get one, Mike?
From there, we couldn't even get into no more Zoom meetings after that. If we didn't buy an NFT, whatever those little green and yellow things was, what was they called?
Yeah, yellow boxes, NFTs. You got
to
Everyone's got one of those, Mike. You've got to have one of those.
If you have one of those?
Oh, I love them, mate. Have them for breakfast. No, I don't. Sorry. I wanted a purple one, mate, and then a platinum one, $100,000. Oh, imagine if I had one of those.
I had the money to do it.
We couldn't, after when they started that, we could not get into no more meetings. If you didn't buy one of those things, you was cut off from all of their meetings, all of their calls, everything. You couldn't even get in if you didn't buy one of those boxes.
Yeah. They use that money to do the billboard advertising. You know, and it was another a fundraiser. Everything they do is all about getting money in. You know, there's I put a picture into the HyperFraud Telegram group of a guy called Kevin. And he's Chinese, and he's got lots of companies, and we dug through all his companies, and we found one of his directors was Ryan Zhu, and I heard from Kalpesh that there was 2 Kevins associated with HyperVerse, but they're not on social media, and they've never been on any Zoom meetings. So I believe that all the money has already gone to, like, let's say, the Chinese mafia style stuff, and I don't believe that the Ryans and the Sams and the Jadens actually got control of the money. And I believe that Ryan and Jaden actually started up HyperNation, and they must have had some problems with Sam. So then Sam was going to start up Hyper One, and that was a rumor that I proved wasn't true. However, there must have been some validity to it all, because shortly after he started up Stable Deo, and then he was trying to do rinse and repeat what he'd done in the past, couldn't get a community together, and then he stuck his ugly head out and tried to go after the HyperCommunity. And when that happened, then the HyperCommunity started publishing articles trying to defame him on their Medium account. And the next thing they said that they got hacked way back in January, and somebody was holding them for ransom for all the money, and they've finished up negotiating $400,000 as a finder's fee to find code that was broken in Sam software. And that got removed 2 days after that was published. And now what we're finding with this Satoshi, whatever thing, we literally, if you go to behindmlm.com, there's an article in there, and it shows you that the HTML code of this new thing that they're pushing has HyperNation's HTML codes. So they're using the same templates, the same everything, and they're just rinse and repeating.
The service agreement's the same. In HyperVerse and HyperNation, the only change in the service agreement is in the HyperVerse, it's members, and in the HyperNation, it's citizen. They are both the same.
Wow, there you go. So they're just going after the community who thinks, oh, well, and I think what keeps these things going for so long is people seriously think they can get in and get out before that falls over. And if you look at Vigilance, that lasted 6 weeks. And did you say the site's down?
Yeah, it's gone now. Beta, one of them has gone. The live one is still going, but beta has gone. They're not paying out anything. I don't know. I think you can still go on it at the moment, but soon it will be gone.
Wow. So everyone who thought there was a real deal now found out they were only in a beta program, and they're going to start. Yeah. And they doubled the amount of rewards that the people had in the beta program to say thank you. That they can't get out. It's like saying, go playing Monopoly, and then say, we'll just double the amount of money that you've got in the fake bank. And then they'll probably promise, like they did with all the other ones, that you can transfer these tokens into the new platform once you're in the new platform, like the yellow NFTs that Mike was talking about.
Definitely. And I mean, this video was just to keep people distracted, because we had to fill out a questionnaire in Stable Opinion to get. It was all about Sam Lee, come along, trying to save everyone. If we fill out this questionnaire in Stable Opinion about R1X with all the screenshots of the back office, which sounds just like what these guys have just said on the Zoom. That's why I was just like, oh my God, this is what we did 3 months ago through Sam Lee. It's just constant distraction. And then the goalposts move. So they'll say, oh, you've got like 2 weeks to fill in this. It's very urgent. So everyone's like scrambling together to do it. And then when it gets nearer the time, it's like, oh, actually, we've made the deadline now another 6 months. So obviously, you know, they've got another 6 months to come out with some other rubbish. And it's the same here. I mean, part of me feels foolish for even filling out that questionnaire with Sam Lee, because obviously...
Did you give you your driver's license? Your passport? Might be a few Chinese people running around soon with your name.
Luckily, the information they needed was sort of, again, from our back office, how much we put in. But then it makes me think now, you know, he's got all that information. And then after some of the stuff we've discussed about how the money potentially could have got in there, maybe he can, I don't know.
Well, you're going to be advertised to. Everyone's got an email address. I mean, Vigilance was claiming they had 82,000 people in their database. That's a hell of a big database. You know, you email 82,000 people and say there's another opportunity that it's framed lovely. It's just, like I've been doing this for 12 months. I've been made fun of. I'm an idiot. I don't care. But I think if going forward, you know, there's revenge. I mean, if you look at the 5 stages of anger, I think it's grief. It's anger, revenge. You know, then it's acceptance. I don't know the other 2. I haven't got that far down the road yet. But
I just want him to go to jail now. That's all I want.
Boom! We've got a noise for that.
To be locked up and gone to jail.
Yep. Here you go, Mike.
I done kind of got over the money, because I don't know. I don't think I'll never get it back.
Jail. Well,
just locked up.
Yeah. Well, it's the world we live in, unfortunately. And as bad as it is, I mean, this was a $4 billion scam. If going by their numbers, which I don't actually always believe, because we've got another one at the moment. It's called We Global, and they claim they've got 310,000 people signed up for it. And my research has shown the average person puts $1,000 in it. So it's a huge scam. But then I'm thinking, if they've got that much money, why don't they just delete all their websites, take down all their Instagrams, their YouTube channels, and just disappear with the money? So I believe there's a sort of a bigger criminal network behind it. And I don't think they're just too clever. You know, they've done this with cocaine for years, haven't they? So now this is their version of cocaine.
But Danny, I see a lot of Ponzi schemes going on, and people take some to the court and they get settlements from their Ponzi schemes. So isn't this one of these type of Ponzi schemes?
Yep. Well, when I was in the New York Times, I got approached by two whistleblower companies, and they basically said, if you help us prosecute anyone, and we're talking about Sam Lee or Ryan Jew, that there's a fee that you can get 30% of the money they retrieve back from these guys.
Right. You can take their home, you can take their homes and everything, can't you?
Well, yeah, but we can't find Sam Lee, and they're hiding in Dubai. We can't find Ryan Jew. Same with Jaden Wee. They're the Keepins, and the two Kevins, we don't even know who they are, where they live, except one of them, it's all alleged stuff, and there's no real hard evidence. So it's just horrible. I mean, yes, but Dubai doesn't like America. What I'm hoping is Dubaian people, or the royal Dubai family, will actually start enforcing their laws and, you know, chop their hands off. You'll know all the scammers because they'll be walking around with stumps.
Yeah. I mean, something has to be done because it's just, but I feel like, again, now, like I said earlier, people are coming together. People are knowing now, like, what's really going on, and people can't be gaslit anymore. They can't be, you know, told that they're being a bully or abusive when all they're doing is trying to ask what the hell's going on. And, you know, we've got our own little community now of people that just want to get somewhere, and also to just make things right for the people that have lost so much money. You know, it's devastated people's lives. You know, this has been put to people. I mean, anyone with a heart, like, you know, the people that have taken all this money, okay, it's bad enough that they've taken all that money and scammed everyone, but then the way they talk to people, and I think it's just pushed some people into absolute despair. I've heard of many people that have taken their own lives from this, which is absolutely tragic. And, you know, because some people have literally lost everything. Another lady has gone bankrupt, and yet these people are still trying to push the next thing. And it's just, it comes to a point where people have said to me for a while, don't waste your energy on this. You know, you put in a bit of money, it's a life lesson, sort of walk away. And I was, for months, I thought, I don't want to get back involved in it. That's why I don't go on the Zooms. It's negative energy. But now it's kind of like, this isn't okay, because if everyone thought like that, they would just continue getting away with it, you know?
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. It's not okay for someone to just take people money. And that's just like you robbing a bank. That's like you robbed a bank and you go and you take people money out of that's people money that was in the bank.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the other one of these people like Clayton Ford, if they are transparent, why don't they tell us how much money they've actually made from this scheme? Why not show us their financials? Why not be transparent? Because they don't. They all want to keep that private. Because, like I said, my churchgoer guy that introduced 180 people to it, and he made $200,000. You know, you got Brenda Chunder, who's brought in $640 million, which I can't even comprehend, claiming that she's only ever made $1 million. And that's because she won $1 million.
She made more than that.
Oh, of course.
She made more than $1 million.
But people I know that, but that's what she's claiming. And then she's trying to say we're in the same boat. We haven't got our withdrawals either.
Yeah. It's not a claim to be scoffed at, because she was one of the first that was reached out by Keith Wood in Canada. And she then rolled it out there. So if you can imagine, she's like at the very top of the tree in Canada.
She was very top. Her and Jackie, that lady Jackie too.
Yep. So when they say that they're bringing in
Jackie
business,
Holmes.
they're bringing in business.
Yeah. No, there's, you know.
But also the narrative has completely changed. So when I joined HyperVerse, the lady who got me sort of into it, if you like, wasn't my direct upline, but the one above that. You know, I had stories that she was staying in like the Burj Al Arab in Dubai. No, sorry, was it the Burj Al Arab? You know, that 7-star hotel.
Oh, I know. I go stay there all the time.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
She was, I love it.
Yeah, that's great. Got a nice pool way.
Yeah. So she was staying there. She had so much money out. She had, you know, it was basically like, this is the best thing ever. The lady above her, I can't remember her name now, was apparently staying in an apartment that was costing £75,000 a month. It was One Hyde Park, which is, you know, one of the most expensive places in England, probably in the world. So we'd heard all these stories, and obviously at that point, you know that is too good to be true, but you think, okay, if I put in a little bit of money and I can pay for some nice holidays, that's okay, sort of thing. But they're still spinning this to get people in. Then it goes tits up, and it's suddenly like, oh no, I didn't have that money out. No. Oh no, I still haven't got my full 1x back. I've heard from one of these people, and I had all these other people tied up in it. And it's like, what is true? Yeah. Like, what is actually true here? Because if what you're saying, so if the story you spun us to get us in there was untrue, then you obviously coerce people to get in there by feeding them lies. And then, or if the story after is untrue or is true. Sorry, I'm actually just now, I've confused myself now with my train of thought.
On a daily occurrence. Just to let everyone know in the room, this has been broadcasted live on the Danny Tech YouTube channel. And we actually currently have 20 people watching us. So we're, if we would offer some practical advice for people. I mean, the suicide thing really hits home for me because I was brought up in a religious cult, and 2 people in my immediate family, my stepfather and my sister, took their own lives by suicide. And when I look at these Ponzi schemes, you know, they promise a paradise that will never eventuate. And they also gaslight people, and they preach to people. And a lot of people, because they're in the community, and a lot of people are lonely, and they want to be part of a community. It's quite natural. And that's where the similarities come to me. And then all of a sudden they lose their money and they get kicked out of the community, and then they discover loneliness and a shame. Like, you wouldn't think out of 1.5 million people that would only have 1,400 people who have signed a petition saying they've been scammed. And a lot of them are going, oh, I don't want to keep myself private. Because when you invest money, you want to keep it private because it's your personal. And when it's personal and you keep things quiet to yourself, it just, the world caves in on you. So if people are out of desperation thinking that way, the best thing you can do is actually go off to a friend and tell them how you're feeling about your current situation. Start talking to friends, get help if you need it, and don't be ashamed of what you've done, because a lot of people go, I feel so foolish. And I go, well, you're talking to the world's, I do a bit of public speaking, and I listen to TED Talks, and people watching the TED Talks go, I want to be able to do that. And I go, these guys on these TED Talks are athletes. They are the guys at the top. They are the Olympic champions because they've rehearsed their talking. It's not just a speech they woke up in the morning they thought they would give. These multi-level marketers, I've traced one back from 2013. He's an Australian guy. He was involved in OneCoin. He's out there actively going back and forth to Dubai like it's a morning commute, and he's promoting Wee Global at the moment. And I've tracked him. He's done 8 of these Ponzi schemes, and now Kalpesh Patel, who introduced him into it, is starting this data bank thing where you can get 90% of your money back. And people are going, I'm going to double down. I'm going to get the rest of my money, put it down. I know it's a Ponzi scheme, but I'm going to get my money out. And if I double my money, but now they're falling over in 6 weeks' time instead of 2.5 years. So, you know, it's a big thing, but these guys are professionals and they use NLP training.
That's what blew me away. The 3X they promised us in the beginning, that 3X just blew my mind. And like, you put, oh wow, I'm gonna get 3X.
You put 2,000 in, eh? You put 2,000 in. You got some money out where you tested it, you saw it, and then you went all in with the rest of it. And that's another strategy.
Yeah, I never did take nothing out. I never took any of my money out because I wanted to wait for 600 days, like they promised us, 600 days, and then you could start withdrawing. Nobody never showed me how to do a withdrawal. The only thing I was showed to how to take my money, put it through Coinbase, and put it over in HyperVerse. That was the only thing I was showed what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what brought me in, the 3X.
Yeah. I think we also, when we were told, so like, you know, put your money in, and then there was all these strategies of like, if you leave it for, I mean, it was 3 years, but then it was 4 years by the time we put our money in because things had changed. And then it was, if you leave it 4 years, you'll times your money, times 4 your money, but you can start doing rebuys. So that means you'll actually end up with, I mean, the figures were mental. Like for my dad, who put in 10,000, if he kept doing the rebuys that he was meant to and followed the strategy, he could have got like nearly £500,000. And I mean, I remember looking at that, and even my dad looked at it and said, well, that's not true. That's not going to happen. I was like, yeah, you know, that's ridiculous. However, you will at least times 4 your money. So you know, people get on it. And my dad used to work in finance, and what I'm finding is a lot, like, I'm a very skeptical person. I question everything, but the people, I mean, and the lady that got me involved, my friend who introduced it, like, she is a very intelligent person. So anyone that is feeling stupid, like, it's got everyone. It really has. Like, no one is immune to.
No, didn't get me.
Apart from you, Dan, yes, of course. No, not you. But you know what? That my biggest mistake was, because I, you know, trusted my friend, and I still trust her, that she's done absolutely nothing wrong. But I didn't do any research myself. I just thought, sod it, I'll go into it, you know, and sort of see what happens. But again, it's not so much the money, because I put in what I thought, okay, if I lost it, it's not the end of the world. But it was the behavior of everyone going forward that was the biggest thing for me, that I just thought, okay, this is just absolute madness. And then it's gone into a whole new thing now. It's not just about the money, it's about how people have been treated. And like you said, Danny, you know, people come together, they want a community, they think they're being heard, you know, and the way they're spoken to, it's just awful. It's so awful, and they've got no point of contact. And I know of some people that have invested, and the only people they really know are their upline. So they think, okay, if I talk out or ask my upline things, they're going to be cut off and have literally no one to turn to. Whereas us guys have all had other people we know. So if we're kicked out a group, someone else will tell us what's going on and keep us in the loop. But if you haven't got someone else, then you feel all alone. That's why people aren't speaking out.
Loneliness is a killer. I've done lots of public speaking on loneliness. I used to run social groups, and I was incredibly lonely when I was 40. I'm 53 now. So I started organising social groups with people. And I did a big talk on loneliness and how it's a killer, because, you know, like, you know, and it's hard to find friends. I mean, Mike, I know you're on a sickness benefit. I mean, I'm sure you can't go down to the local pub and have a few beers and meet new people. So I'm assuming you get online and you meet people and you chat and you feel like you're part of a community, which HyperVerse did provide. And then they took your money.
Yeah. Well, yeah, my friend, well, he really wasn't my friend. He was a friend of a friend.
The best type.
Yeah, really. The trigger effect. And he the one told me. He said, he introduced me to it and said, give it a try. At first they said, you do $300. You get in with $300. And that should have been a warning sign there. $300. You have to start off with $300. What kind of program? What kind of whatever scheme is that? You start off with $300. So
imagine buying a lotto ticket, and you had to start off with $300 to buy a lotto ticket.
Yeah, a lotto ticket. Yeah, and then they show you this chart that how you progress after the $300. You can put in this much. You put in this much. You put in this much. After so many days, you be up to almost $250,000 or whatever, like something like that. So that made you think about it, and that made you feel like, okay, I'm gonna put a little bit more. I'm gonna put a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's how people kept contributing to it.
Oh, it's sickening, mate. Yeah. You know, it really is sickening. I mean, I muck around on here. Honestly, people go, oh, you joke around, Danny. You make fun of, and I don't mean to. It's my jovial way about myself, because it actually makes me want to vomit in a bucket. You know.
And you know what, Danny? Like, so before this group come about in Telegram, I'd started one in WhatsApp, and there was only about 10 of us in there, but a few people had reached out to me because I'd got chucked out of a group, and they were just like, we understand what you're saying and we agree. So I set up a group, and it was just full of stupid jokes a lot of the time, because it was the best way to handle things. Like, you know, sometimes you just have to have a sense of humor, because if you don't laugh, you're going to cry. But when I started this new group, I thought, okay, it has to be a place where people can actually, you know, sort of talk. I love the hat, but I think you should bring your dog back.
Look, it's got Rove on it. I got it free when I bought a microphone. Oh, my dog, he's gone. His coffee's been made in the kitchen. Sorry. Yeah.
But yeah, like, you have to be able to have a laugh, because it's just, otherwise it just becomes even more draining. And you know, you can make a bit of light of it. I mean, some people absolutely are not, and I completely understand. But I just think it's kept some of us sane to be able to have a bit of a joke, because otherwise, you just can't cope in these groups and these things. You know, you just can't. It's too much.
I'm currently a guy's trying to sue me for $3.8 million in the New Zealand High Court. He's lodged a case and he's probably spent around about $150,000 on it so far. And
wow.
They have tried everything because they didn't think they're trying to stop me. And they've tried to stop my legal aid, claiming that I have connections with white supremacists. And we had a shooting here in Christchurch where 51 people died in a mosque. And they said to the New Zealand government, if they don't stop my legal aid, they're going to go sue the New Zealand government. So all these documents are it's a long, complicated battle. But anyway, my lawyer said to me, Danny, you've got to take it seriously. And I said, I'm not kidding, but I'd be in a mess. You know, like I'm actually getting pursued quite heavily, and I've got every duck in a row. But I said, you just can't, you know, and then yesterday I got my car rammed and chased around my hometown for 10 minutes. And the guy drove up behind me and I put a bar through my back window. And I'm thinking, oh, is this connected? You know, you never know what these people will do to stop you because they're so greedy. And this is the thing about this whole opportunity. It is actually about people, these multi-level marketers have a burning desire to be millionaires and have all these Ferraris and, you know, Lamborghinis. And then you look at people like Kalpesh Patel and you think, well, you were theoretically, he told me off, he sent me a message and said I wasn't making $1 million a day and you shouldn't lie. And I said, well, how much did you make? Oh, I'm not telling you. Okay then, well, let's just go with $1 million a day. And they have all this money.
Brenda Changa story.
Yeah, why do they continue? They're not happy.
Everybody made $1 million.
She claimed. Yeah. Oh, coffee delivery. Thank you. Yeah.
Where's your dog? Where's your dog, Pixel?
He's Pixel. Where are you? I'll go get him. Pix. Pixel. Where is he?
He's funny.
I know, he is. Bless him. Bless him and bless his dog.
I just feel that we need to really hone in on a direction. I made an analogy today to somebody that said, you know what? The firing squad, which is us being the general public in the community, are basically pointing our guns downwind at anyone that tends to stand in line and basically give us all this shrapnel and all this rubbish and all these like little sob stories. But Sam Lee, he kind of like looked at this and thought, yo, if I get out in front of this and basically fall on my sword, somebody's going to basically reach out, help me stand up, and it will all be all right. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. When he first got onto some Zooms, some of the stuff that was being said to him was absolutely criminal and shocking. But he stood there, he took it, but he kept saying, oh, yeah, well, I've got something coming. Even some people were like saying, well, hang on a minute, you're supposed to be this tech guru, and you can't even produce a document or some information as to what this is all about. You sound like you're selling us another dream. But then all of a sudden, Vigilance came out and he showed everybody that. And everybody was like, oh, Sam Lee's going to save us. Sam Lee's going to get us our 1X back. And I was like, no, hell, no, not going to get no 1X back. This is just another...
That was just a show. He put on a front show.
Yeah. But the likes of Clayton and his friends, they were like, no, don't join Satoshi AI. We've been asking questions, blah, blah, blah. And then a lot of people were like, well, hang on a minute. Why should we listen to you? You aren't actually telling us the truth yourselves. You're not giving us any information that we need. So, with that being said, just imagine now, a few weeks later, and you're Clayton Ford, and you're sat there and you're thinking, well, hang on a minute. This has worked. This has worked for Sam Lee. I know. Why don't we run a couple of Zooms, open up the chat and stand in the firing line? Yeah, we might get shot for a little while, but we might survive like Sam Lee did. And I think that's what's happening.
We've had a few of those type of people, though. That's the only bugger.
But you know what, Danny? I think if we get one of them in court and one of them to be subpoenaed to go to court, I believe the rest of them will start talking. If you get one, if we can get one of them in court to say what, you know, put some kind of charge against them, somebody else will start talking after that. But we got to get one of them in court some kind of way.
Yeah, and I think the best thing is who likes the IRD, who likes declaring their income. So that's why I'm going back to individuals who have either handled the money or have got a lifestyle that doesn't merit how much they declare. I mean, this is live. So there was a guy that I got told hadn't done. He's in one of my videos. His name is Stephen Kondos. Now, I got told that he hadn't paid or declared any profit. He'd done tax return for the last 3 years. He's the guy that's been traveling back and forth to Dubai like it's a commute to work. And he's going to all these conferences. And now he's declaring no profit for 3 years in a row. So I went to the Australian Tax Department and gave them all the information. I showed them the video I did and everything. You know, and I actually got to the head of that tax department, and they wanted to know how I knew so much about him. And I'm thinking, these guys are just so far out of touch with the real world. And if you go to court, like I'm going to court now, I submitted, now get this, 217 pages. It cost me $220 just to print out screenshots and articles. And, you know, in this case I'm going, it's pretty clear. So even to go back, it's just so complicated. The court system's not geared up for it. I went to the court system and I printed out double-sided paper. And oh, sorry, the judge won't like that. So $120 thrown in the bin. And then I had to go back, so the judge doesn't have double-sided paper. I mean, the court systems are worried about double-sided paper. They're not going to listen to anyone on a Telegram group. You know, and then whenever I've contacted anyone of authority, they go, where do they live? I go, don't know. And his name's Zubidoo3186 on Telegram. I've been chatting to him for 6 months. Oh, right. Oh, we don't do Telegram here. Have you got anything? Have you got a phone number for him? You know, it's just, you sit there and bang your head against the wall. And that's why
we have to subpoena. Who we have to subpoena? Sam Lee, Ryan. We need to subpoena one of those guys.
You know what you do, mate? You give them enough rope. And there's things happening that, you know, as soon as these guys start getting cocky and start relaxing and start traveling, they will get done. In Dubai, just forget about it. The Dubai government, they have to change their rules. That's why I did a poll the other day, basically saying, you know, should we write to the Dubai government? Is that how we handle it? Do we keep harassing the government saying these are 5, 10 people that you're harbouring who are running Ponzi schemes? Do you guys care? They don't reply. And they're probably making money out of these guys.
Yeah.
So it's not much.
That's what I said too.
I mean, you know, like in the ideal world, I mean, this is why I reckon anyone like Clayton Ford, you know, if we can, he would have made a lot of money. He'll have it all hidden in crypto wallets that you can't track or see. You know, so go after these guys if you can, you know, and see if you can lodge something with the tax department, because their lifestyle won't add up to their income declared. And that may be enough to get an investigation going.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Clayton's a trader.
Guys, I'm going to have to go now, but it's been really nice to talk to everyone. And Danny, thank you for setting up the Zoom. And, you know, we'll still be coming together to you know, figure something out and hopefully get to the bottom of all this.
So thank you to those people for coming on to that Zoom meeting and putting themselves out there. You obviously hear that a lot of people don't know where to turn. They don't know what to do. I mean, I've been following this for 12 months and it just gets ridiculous. These VIP 5s who claim they're now in the same boat as you guys and they want to help you recover your money. What I want to see from these guys is I want them to show you their financials. I want to see how much income they have declared in their real life, not what they've got in their crypto wallets. Because if they really are out there to help people in the community, they would be more transparent. I did meet, as I said, in this, one guy who had made $200,000 out of HyperVerse just by recruiting 180 people from his church into it. So there's no doubt in my mind that all these scammers, the real scammers are the multi-level marketers. In my advice, I mean, it's all very well doing a class action lawsuit against the people at the top. But the people at the top, like Sam Lee, Ryan Zhu, Jaden Wee, are all hiding in Dubai. And the chances of us getting them, we really need to go to the Dubai royal family and say, what are you doing harboring all these people that have scammed people around the world out of their money? Do they care? Who knows? It would be good if they did. So what I recommend you do is you go after your sponsor, the person that introduced you to it. And if you're part of a community, one of those VIP fives or those community leaders would have handled the money along the way. And this is where you go to your local tax department and you say, this guy has been doing money laundering. He took money from me, introduced me into an online crypto opportunity. I don't believe the money actually went to the online crypto community. I believe he pocketed the money, and I believe he's money laundering. I don't know. It's the best shot I've got. That's after 12 months of doing this. It's just ridiculous. There's just some home truths which I mentioned at the end of the video, which I really want to get precise. So if you go way back to the start and you're not familiar with all the hyper stuff, it originally started off with 3 people, Jaden, Ryan, and Sam Lee. And they had a company called, and there's also another guy called Lee. His last name escapes me. Lee Allen, maybe. Anyway, they had a company called Bitcoin Group. And then Bitcoin Group broke into, and this is when Sam Lee, Ryan, they had no money because we've got videos of them talking about when they get rich, if they ever get rich. They formed a company called Colin Star Capital. And then Sam Lee started up a company called Blockchain Global. And they used that throughout the whole hyper community presentations. They claimed that Ryan Zhu had 300 entities that he was a part of, and he was a crypto millionaire, made all his money. Same with Jaden, made all his money with Bitcoin and the like. Anyway, they finished up buying 40% of Blockchain Global. Blockchain Global managed to get themselves listed on the Australian share market. Boom. And they theoretically they did raise $50 million. And then all of a sudden they took off, ran over to Dubai and stole $50 million from Australian investors. They tried 3 times to get themselves listed on the Australian share market. First company ever to do so. So now you've got Sam Lee in there saying he's a true blue Australian guy. He's not. He's lying, and he's defrauded his own country that he was born in, even though his family are from China. Right, so the next thing they did is they started up a company called Hyper Capital. And then that got flagged as a Ponzi, so they renamed that to Hyper Fund, and that's where things started to get traction. Keith Williams, Amanda Lee from Australia, they only had 100 people in their Zoom meetings. They built that up to become HyperVerse. And then when HyperVerse went, all these VIPs, all these people in these Zoom meetings were training to be multi-level marketers. They were training to be skilled experts at conning their friends and their family into investing in a $300 package. If you gave the HyperVerse people, or HyperFund at the time, $300, you kissed it goodbye. It was not an investment, they said. You give the money, show your support that you want to be part of the metaverse, and then it would you would get rewards, just like you would if you had a credit card, and you get rewards. And this was their way of thinking they were legally doing things correctly, where you couldn't go back to them and claim they were an investment company. Hence, they didn't think they needed to be financial advisors, because you were just giving them money to support the community, and then you're going to be rewarded from it. So the rewards were that in 600 days, they would drip feed your money back to you. They drip feeded it over 600 days, and people were getting $900 within 600 days. Then too many people got involved. They had people creating multiple accounts. They were paying the multi-level marketers 20% for referring somebody, 15%, 20%, 5%. In fact, 52% of the money that went into HyperVerse or HyperFund at the time was going back paying the VIP fives. They could transfer their money from HVT into USDT and take the money out. So that's where the money's gone. So if $300 was what you needed to invest, they claim, and I don't even know if these figures are correct, but they say 1.5 or 2 million people have invested in HyperVerse. So that is $4 billion on the low side. 50% of that money went back to the people who were promoting it. So now you've only got $2 million. There is a transaction on one of my videos where we track 842 million got taken out of HyperVerse and broken into Bitcoin wallets. And it has been tracked that some of it does leak back to Ryan Zhu through my guys tell me that. So that's what happens. All right, so now we've got people that have invested, people have been waiting to get the rewards, and then the money started to cease. So they changed it from 3 times to 4 times, and you had to wait 1,330 days before you got your money. You were forced to upgrade to membership 2. If you didn't, go along to the community meetings and you didn't participate in all the Zoom meetings and you didn't recruit people, then you would be left behind. That was like a threat. So people keep following. They were in these meetings being brainwashed by these VIP 5s. And if you go back through my part 1, part 2, part 3 videos, which are about 5 videos back, you can see the intensity and the gaslighting they were doing to people in the community to get them to stay or reinvest their money. They didn't want you taken out of the platform. So then they, it seemed like Ryan and Jaden had some disagreement with Sam. Now remember, since Blockchain Global collapsed, it all fell over and they went and hid in Dubai. It seems like Sam Lee and Ryan Zhu and Jaden had some fallout. Now they started up HyperNation. At the same time that was happening, there was rumored that Sam Lee was disgruntled and he was going to start up Hyper One. They showed photos of him in a hotel foyer in something like Dubai, and we time-stamped the photos and found they were taken back in 2018. Well, I did. So that sort of didn't go anywhere. 2 months later, he released a program called Stable Deo. Now, Stable Deo, he was trying to start up his own thing. He wasn't very successful. He did Zoom meetings, he did YouTube videos, and they were getting 300-400 people looking at these videos. There's 5 businessmen involved. One of them was called Gareth. Gareth then started up Vigilance. Vigilance was a way of Sam building trust with the community. The trust with the community was the fact that he was trying to use Vigilance to help people get their 1 times reward back from the HyperVerse, even though he was claiming he had no control over HyperNation or HyperVerse. In the meantime, you got Ryan, you following this? Ryan, Jaden running HyperNation, coming out with announcements from Mr. H all day long. So it's just a shambles. So then it got nasty. Sam Lee decided to go after the HyperCommunity. The people who still trust that HyperNation, the weirdo HyperNation stuff was true. HyperNation started coming out of HyperCosmos, a way where people could fool their friends and family into investing in HyperCosmos, which was a straight Ponzi scheme. You could make up how much money you wanted somebody to invest, and you would get 50% of the money. As long as you could fool the people out of their money, they were willing to pay you 50%. And this is their way of telling people, you work, you get your 1 times reward. In the meantime, the community was still listening to all the hype, and they were hoping they were going to get their 1 times reward back. It never happened, never eventually. There's no money left because it had been transferred out. Now, I've been texting Kalpesh Patel. Now, Kalpesh Patel, he didn't like my videos because I said I weren't truthful and I'm just as bad as Sam Lee. He doesn't like Sam Lee. In fact, he can't stand him because he's lying to the community. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, you're telling everyone I was making $1 million a day out of HyperVerse and it's not true. So I asked him, how much money were you making out of HyperVerse? And all these VIPs, they should do the same thing. If you really want to help the community, fess up, show us your books. If you're a legitimate company, which I hope you are, show us how much money you've made. Show us your tax returns. You know, let us know how much money you've made out of HyperVerse. Don't say you haven't made anything and you're in the same boat. It's not true. Back to Kalpesh Patel. So Kalpesh Patel said that he was talking to Sam. Sam said that they've been taking the money out of HyperVerse and they've been transferring it into Bitcoin wallets. Now, I've got proof of that. Then he said that they were never doing any whale trading, whatever that is, and they also were not investing in any startups. And they were looking to pay Kalpesh Patel a ridiculous sum of money, as Kalpesh said, to do a slow exit strategy so they could get away with the loot. Kalpesh thought this was terrible. Kalpesh left Keith Williams to man the boat. Now, Keith Williams has actually... I'll explain a bit more first because this is the whole picture that I've pics together if you want to know the actual story. So Kalpesh Patel's gone off and started promoting other Ponzi schemes. They don't stop, nor do any of these VIPs. Then you've got Keith Williams, who, so what happened was the community was up in arms. They do these Zoom meetings. Now there was Marcus, there was David, and there was Troy. And they had a community called the Tashubi Show. I always get it wrong. Tashobi Show, I can't say it, but if you know those three people, you'll know what I'm talking about. They ran a Zoom meeting. They had 5,000 people who were looking to get their one-times money back. They were trying to guide and help the community. 5,000 people turned up in a Zoom meeting. They dumped Novatech FX people in there. And then they encouraged everyone to diversify. They were trying to steal the community. So they encouraged people to diversify into Novatech. Novatech was ran by two ministers who had gone bankrupt. It has now fallen flat in its face. And now I see these David, Troy, and Marcus promoting Vigilance. And Mario, the Uber driver, he's also promoting Vigilance. I'll get into that in a minute. Stay focused. We've got this. So once that happened, all of a sudden, Sam Lee stuck his ugly head out. And he was promoting a stable day without any success. To my surprise, Sam Lee came out of hiding. Ryan and Jaden haven't. Then Sam Lee said he's going to go after the community. HyperNation wakes up, starts posting articles on their Medium account, talking about what actually happened, confessing up, trying to keep the community on their side. They didn't want them to go over to David, Marcus, and Troy's Novatech. They wanted to keep the community together. So they said that they had a scammer who come in, stole all the money out of HyperVerse and held them to ransom for 12 months. And then they paid him $400,000 as a finder's fee to release the money as a bug-finding finder. Sam Lee disputed this. He said, "You're running on my software." Sam Lee claimed that he talks to corporate every day. Sam Lee doesn't say who corporate is because he's signed an NDA with a company that doesn't exist, that's not law-abiding. It won't stand up Sam anyway. So it's all bullshit. But Ryan, Jaden, Sam, two Kevins are corporate. They are using everyone. They're trying to keep this community together because you guys keep reinvesting. So Sam comes along, his mate Gareth produces Vigilance. Vigilance falls flat in its face. A week before, Vigilance got traction. It got a lot of traction. Vigilance said, somebody said in the Zoom meeting, what happens if you get multiple accounts? They said they're not too concerned about that. They had 4 account levels and they had daily payouts, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, and it's getting confusing, is 7 days later, 10,000 people had set up fake accounts. So they jammed everyone's money, ceased withdrawals. They gave rewards to the people in the platform. So if you got your Monopoly money stuck in the platform and you couldn't get it out, for some reason they thought it was a good idea to give you double your money. Whatever. As some show of faith. Then they said that Vigilance was a beta version, only lasted 6 weeks. These Ponzi schemes are getting shorter and shorter. And then they're now starting up version 2. And everyone's lost their money and they're telling everyone that was only a beta version. Then you got Kalpesh Patel. He first left HyperVerse. He went off to Gold Standard Partners. They paid, they went through the court system, paid $40,000 to get a embedded video off my website. I don't know, I didn't know anything about it. They went after my ISP and I had one of my pages on my own website banned because, so they have a lot of money. Don't piss them off. Note to Danny. Next thing, Kalpesh Patel was promoting WeWe Global. WeWe Global was the best thing since sliced bread. All the VIPs that had been promoting HyperVerse has just jumped into promoting either GS Partners or WeWe Global. And then all the other people had jumped into promoting Novatech FX. Now, if you were really truly going to help the community, guys, why would you jump into another scheme that is promoting Ponzi schemes? These guys are not good. If they truly are going to help you, they need to tell us their financial records. They need to be more transparent on how much money they actually made. So now you've got Kalpesh Patel, who is in breach of contract. If they have contract, these contracts they get you to sign don't mean shit. But anyway, so in breach of contract, if you go into WeWe Global, you're not allowed to promote another Ponzi scheme while you're promoting another Ponzi scheme. So he's now promoting DataBank. DataBank is meant to be paying out 80 or 90% rewards. And all the VIP 5 you watch, they will follow him. They're just, the people who make the money out of these things are not the investors, the people that double their money and get their money back in 600 days. It is the multi-level marketers. So we've now got, if you just look at the background there, we have now got Clayton Ford, Rannal Hepburn, going into the community. Today, I was in this meeting, as you just saw, 550 odd people, and they are claiming that they're going to help people do screenshots, and they're going to go and take the necessary action. And then they're telling people that they're victims. These guys are not victims. They are trying to scam you. In the not too distant future, they're working at building up a community, whatever's left of it, and then they're going to introduce them to another multi-level marketing opportunity where they could potentially get their money back. It happened. Sam Lee come up with Vigilance. Vigilance was a platform where you logged in, bought a membership, you had to watch adverts, and you'd get rewarded for watching the adverts. People were saying, oh, I just play the adverts and I walk away and let them play in the background, turn the sound down. It doesn't work like that. They're using you as circuits and as animals. And there's no one out there who advertises on Google, Yahoo, TikTok, or Facebook who's paying Ponzi scheme promoters to run their adverts through their system so that you gain rewards. There's so many scams out there at the moment. There's We Global are producing a cell phone. You have to pre-buy it. They're having celebrations of new country managers. So they put out a package where you can buy a special package, a discounted package. And then they say, quick, you've got 3 days to sign up. And then they extend it again. You've got We Global cell phone is meant to be able to mint tokens. And the fine print says mint a shit token, not the WeX token. No, but people don't read the fine print. People don't do the due diligence. It's just real basics, this. You watch these people who have scammed. People are starting to wake up. The only way these people thrive is by you continuously thinking they're genuine. These are not genuine scammers. Every single person, I've read out a list of people, I'll try to put it in the notes, that I'm personally going after. I'm I can't even say it. Somebody, I'm going after these guys. I'm naming and exposing them. If you're in these Zoom meetings and you get a chance to talk, you call these people out. If everyone does the same, if people don't turn up on these Zoom meetings, that's what's going to, this is like trying to put out a wildfire of scammers. And you need to use every bit of arsenal you can. Do not give them the oxygen to burn. Hey, I'm Danny the Hek. Thank you for watching the video. I'll try to timestamp this. I just wanted to have a bit of a rant at the end. I mean, the best thing I can sort of say to you guys is Sam Lee is not a genuine guy. He's been doing this way back when they had Blockcoin Group, which you would have never heard of. Colin Star Capital, which you would have never heard of. And then Hyper Capital, you've never heard of it. Then HyperFund, HyperVerse, HyperNation. What did we get up to? We got up to HyperCosmos. And then you've got HyperPlanet. I mean, are you guys for real? And now they're telling you that, like Vigilance, you need to sign up for version 2. And then you need to wait until they come up with this coin or something that they will transfer into a coin that you can transfer over to version 2. But in the meantime, you've given them more money. Don't do it, guys. Wake up. This is, if you've got anything to say, please comment below. I mean, a lot of people are still commenting on my YouTube videos telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, I've been vindicated with HyperNation, haven't I? Because this is just disgusting. I do have one thing. I wanted to play a message I got from someone, and this actually blew me away. And excuse me if I've already done this, but after doing all these videos and people thinking, oh, Danny's really cool, I get this email from a guy. It didn't work. Let's do that again. Come on, computer. It's not going to read it.
Hi, Danny. I hope you don't mind me sending you this message, but I wanted to ask you, are your estimation, are there any trustworthy passive income platforms worth looking into? I have been a member of CashFX, all the hyperscams and Vigilance. I would to hear your views. Thanks.
Okay, so this guy tells me he's been involved with CashFX, enabled you to put $750 in, and I think it was within 3 months you'd get your $750 out. You couldn't take out all the $750, you had to leave 10% in for some reason, or you could sign up for a $1,500 package and get a 40% discount, and you could use your reward money to do so. These platforms all fell over. This guy, who's just asked me, he was part of that, hasn't woken up yet. And then he said he's been involved in all the hypers. Okay, well, you're an idiot. And then he's now got into Vigilance. What are you going to get into next, mate? Wake up. Stop giving these people's money. This is, I don't know, you must have made money somewhere along the line It's like buying a lotto ticket. You're not going to get ahead of the scam. If you think you're cleverer than the scam and you can put your money in, you're going to lose even harder, because you're like being at the casino and you're doubling up on your bets by going into these Ponzi schemes and getting out really quick. It will not work. You will lose all your money. And I will be here to say, I told you so. Because these schemes are getting shorter. HyperVerse, all the hypers lasted for about 2.5, 3 years. People keep piling in their money. It's the biggest one I've ever heard of. 1.5 million people? Who knows if that figure's correct? People, Kalpesh Patel is living in Dubai. Theoretically, I've heard he's on the 56th floor, overlooking the majestic hotel. He can't get out of Dubai now. He's stuck there for the rest of his life because he will get locked up or arrested if he turns up in UK where he's from. Research Kalpesh Patel. Find the article in the UK Mirror where it talks about the biggest scammer in the world returns. I mean, that's an article that's been out there for ages. Keith Williams claiming he's got stage 4 cancer. He's been done for money laundering and tax evasion. You know, that's what I feel is going to happen, was happening to Keith Williams. So he's come out and said he's got stage 4 cancer. Brenda Chunder claims to only have made $1 million out of HyperVerse. In my video, part 3, you can go in there. Keith Williams is blowing smoke up her bum, telling her she's amazing because she has generated $640 million worth of sales in her team. She brought it into Canada or America, something like that. It's just ridiculous. Do not let these guys. We've actually made a lot of headway in the last 12 months, and I'm here to name and shame anyone running a Ponzi scheme or a scam, and I'm going to come after anyone I see doing so. Report your sponsor. Go after the person that introduced you to it. That's why these schemes are so good, because you won't, because they're a friend or a family member. Or write it off. Make sure you're in a good space, and do not give your money away to anything involving crypto or multi-level marketing. You remember, you heard it here first.